Once upon a time, there was a sage whose name was Vajashravasa. He had a son whose name was Nachiketa. This sage Vajashravasa performed a very elaborate ritual called Vishwajit, wherein it was required that the performer of the ritual should give away all his wealth. Then the Upanishad describes that while this process is going on, it must be a very elaborate ritual lasting over several days, involving a number of priests, where many people also will be present, invitees will be present. And the time came for the conclusion of ritual. The conclusion is by way of dakshina or giving gift to the priests and other Brahmins, according to stipulation as to who should receive what kind of gift. And the gift was in those days in the form of cows. So cow was the mark of one's possession of property. And cow, male and female, both of them, between the two, they provided everything that a human being essentially needed. Because cow gives what you call panchagavya, which is milk, from which you have the yogurt, then you have the ghee. Then cow urine also is very precious, and so also cow dung. So cow dung goes for as a manure. Cow urine has a lot of Ayurvedic healing properties, and the milk, of course, and the ghee and the curd. And primarily this is milk, curd, ghee, these are the materials that are offered in offerings to the different devatas. So they become the food of the devatas. That's how you perform yajna, or the sacrificial rituals. In return, those devatas give you the rains, from which there is the crops, and from which there is prosperity, and the whole society is sustained. So female cow gives milk, etc. The male cow becomes a means of agriculture for raising those crops of the grain. So between two of them, they provide everything that they needed to sustain the yajna and sustain the whole universe. That's the reason why cow was, of course, held in a great esteem. So not only because of its material or worldly value, but cow also was looked upon as a very holy or a divine being. It is said that in every limb of the cow there are different devatas or gods living. And so this is not simply a superstition or something. This is what people could say. Therefore, cow symbolized something which is very worshipful, was worshipped as a mother, and also symbolized as something that was the source of nurturing and nourishment and livelihood. Therefore, the Brahmins would be traditionally gifted with cows, because that's how they will be able to sustain their life. So, when it came to the time when the gift was to be given to the Brahmins, then the cows were being given away. This Nachiketa was watching the whole process. The father was also a guru or a teacher who must be running a Vedic Patishala where the Vedas are traditionally taught, and perhaps number of students must be learning there, including Nachiketa. So Nachiketa also had been studying with his father, and therefore was well versed with the scriptures. So Nachiketa was watching the whole process, and Upanishad describes that what Nachiketa found was that his father was giving away old and infirm cows which were not only of any use but which would in fact be a great burden to the one to whom it was given. Pitodaka, Jagdadhunaha, Dugdadoha. So the description is that cows were such that they had the last drink of water, not able to drink further. Dugdadoha, the last milk was milk, they could not give further milk. Jagdadhunaha, not even able to eat grass. Nirindriyaha, certainly not able to bear any progeny. And thus in every way cows were not only useless but were a great burden. So watching this, Nachiketa was moved in his heart. Primarily moved because of the concern for his father. Because he knew that this whole ritual was being performed for the well-being of his father. In this case, the well-being being in terms of his father attaining heaven or happiness, eternal happiness as a result of this ritual. But then whenever any ritual or any action is performed with a certain desire to be fulfilled, then it becomes necessary that that ritual or action should be performed in its entirety, meaning it should be performed properly, then alone it will give the desired result. Otherwise, it is possible that it can even give you the opposite result. So here in this ritual, this very important limb of the ritual, namely giving gift to the Brahmins or priests, was being violated. And so Nachiketa knew what happens to someone who does this. Ananda nama te lokaha. Nachiketa knew that the person who gives away this kind of cows winds up in the realm which is full of pain and sorrow. His father had the desire to go to heaven, which is supposed to be the abode of all happiness. Instead of that, after having done all of this, just because he was giving away this kind of cows as gift, and they were failing to perform an important aspect of the ritual, would in fact be punished with all pain after his death. And Nachiketa could not bear this thought. He was overcome with emotion, with concern for his father. And therefore, he thought to himself, what can I do to make up for this deficiency in this ritual? Looks like my father has run out of all the wealth, all the cows. Now he no more seems to have the cows required for giving to the remaining of the priests. And therefore, perhaps he is forced to give away these cows. There are more than one interpretations of this Vajashravasa giving away this kind of cows. Some people believe that he deliberately did this because of the attachment to his son, that he did not want to deprive his son of all the wealth, and therefore he wanted to save good cows for his son and give away all these old cows to the Brahmins. To me that doesn't look like a good explanation. Because if this was, why should he perform the ritual in the first place? If he knew that this is what he was going to do, he would violate the stipulation, and knowing fully well that that would not yield the desired result, he would not have undertaken this. So perhaps having undertaken and having started giving away the gift, he must have realized that what was called for was more than what he had. And therefore, he was just obliged to give away what was left with him. So Nachiketa saw this as a insufficiency or deficiency in the performance of the ritual. So he thought, what can I do to make up for this deficiency? It seems my father does not have enough wealth. So what can I do? He thinks to himself, I am a putra. So what putra? His result is put plus tra. Put apparently is the name of a hell. There are a number of hells described in the Puranas. This is one of the hells of Put. And Tra means one who protects. So one who protects his father from the hell called Put is called Putra. And therefore it is the duty of the son to save his father from this punishment of the hell. So I am a good, I am a worthy son. What can I do to live up to my name as a Putra? To save my father from this? So he thought that I am also my father's property. Son is not father's property. But the son willingly offers himself and says that, well, you can do what you want with me, you can sell me. Suppose son says, I am your property and you can give me away, then it requires all right. The cow does not need permission because cow cannot say that I don't want to go. But the son cannot be given away like that. In this case, the son has to show his own willingness. So Nachiketa thought, let me go to my father and tell him that I am also your property, your possession, and therefore you can give me away as a gift to make up for the deficiency in the gift. With this thought, so Nachiketa is in his own world. because of his knowledge of scriptures, because of his concern for the father, because he was moved by the possibility of his father suffering from pain, he goes to his father. His father is giving away his cows. There must be a lot of hectic activity going on, and naturally father was very busy at that time. This young boy comes and says, so we have reproduced that passage here on the third page, first passage in the two. Sahovacha Vikaram Tata Tasmai Ma Vasaside Vidiyam Tamhovacha Prityavetva Dadamide. Sahovacha Pitaram. He went to his father. Every time her shows this anecdote that this is how it happened. So once Pitaram, he said to his father, Tata means Tata, father, Kasmi Mam Dasati. Tata can mean son also, can also mean father, because father himself is born as son, they say, and therefore, so my father. Kasmi Mam Dasati. To whom will you give me away? To whom will you give me away? Which means that you can give me away to whoever you want to make up for the deficiency in this part of the ritual. And father is very busy, this is a young boy, and doesn't make sense. What he says also doesn't make sense. Who are you going to give me away? Nobody asks this kind of question. And Nachiketa asked once, father didn't pay attention. Dvitiyam, second time he asked, again did not pay attention. Dvitiyam, a third time he asked. And then father got upset. This is not the way for a child to behave. And out of anger he said, Mrityavetva dadameti. Hey Nachiketa, I am giving you away to mrityu, to death. It's like somebody says, get lost. Oh, sometimes in India, when mothers get too irritated by children, say, go and jump in the well. They say, go and jump in the well. Not that, that she mean, but this is what they say out of, being irritated, out of impatience. Not, no child has ever fallen into the well just because the mother told them. Just go away, all right. That's mother is always like that. She talks like that. You dismiss. You dismiss what an old person says. He's an old man. That's what they say, old man doesn't know what he's talking. And that's how any other son would have simply just walked away from there. Nachiketa also walked away. But he took these words to his father seriously. Father told me, I am giving you away to death, meaning go and die. Go to death, go to Lord Death. So Nachiketa went away into solitude and started thinking in his mind, why does father want me to go to mrityu, to death? Why is he punishing me? One obvious reason is that father is punishing me. As a punishment, he says, I am giving you away to death. So Nachiketa deliberated in his mind, have I done anything to deserve punishment from my father, who is also my guru? So you can be punished if you do not follow father's orders or instructions. That father or guru says something to you and you don't do that, then you can be punished. So Nachiketa says, there are three kinds of disciples, or three kinds of sons. The best of the disciple is the one who does what the father or guru wants or needs without being asked, who senses what is needed and before being asked, who responds and does what is to be done. This is called Prasama. That's the best of all the disciples. The middling one is that who does when told to do. Do this, he does it. The lowest one is that who does not do even when told to do. So if Nachiketa says that if I fall in the third category of the lowest one, then I could be punished. But I don't remember. Bahunamemi Prasamaha. I remember that among most of the disciples, I am in the top category. Meaning I am best among most of them. Bahunamemi, or among some I can be called the middling one. There are some who are better than me. But I am never the lowest one, meaning that I have never disobeyed my father. Meaning that I do not see any reason why father should punish me. Alright. So he could not understand or could not see the reason for his father saying this, I am giving you to death. It cannot be by way of punishment because I do not see any reason for punishment. Then maybe my father is sending me away to death because death needs me. Maybe Lord Death may have told my father that please your son, send your son to me, I need him for such and such thing. So is that what my father wants? That he's sending me to Lord Yama because Yama needs me? But what can I do for him? I'm just a young boy. What use can there be? What use Lord Death can be of me? Thus Nachiketa, giving all the benefit of doubt to his father, that father meant what he said. That father said this deliberately, that I am giving you away to death. That was the first interpretation of Nachiketa, that this father said it deliberately. But when he could not come with any satisfactory explanation as to why father should tell him, he came to the conclusion that father has said this out of anger. If father said out of anger, then he did not mean it. See, whenever we say or do something out of anger, we don't mean it. Because we don't say it. It is not I who is saying something, it is anger that is saying something. So if the father says something out of anger, father did not say it is anger who said it, and therefore father did not mean what he said. If he did not mean what he said, then I need not take it seriously. It's okay. He said it. But Nachiketa took it seriously. He says, no, father said it. He uttered his words, and his words should be made truthful, they should not be falsified. Because he knows all the stipulations. So he knows that if you say something and go back on your words, then also be punished. So it's not right that father said something, made a statement that I am giving you to death, and then he goes back on his words. That also is not right. So he went back to his father and said to his father, oh father, please allow me to go to death. Father, no, my child, I did not mean it. I said out of anger. I did not mean it. You don't have to go to death. Then Nachiketa says, but you said it, father. Since you said it, your words must be made true. It is not right that you should go back to your words. So, Anupashyatha purve, Pratipashyatah pare. If you see what all our ancestors did, nobody ever violated their word. And if you look around even today also, and look at the educated and cultured people of the society, nobody ever goes back on the words. Meaning the Satya, the truthfulness, was one of the highest values. And you always follow truth. And the educated and cultured and wise people always follow truth. Never, Father, you should also follow truth, meaning that your words must be made truthful. Father has no, excuse. He urged his son, but then the son showed him the law. That this is what the law is, moral law. And therefore, I have to go to that. But my son, do you know what it means? You know what they mean by, you know what it means to go to death? You will die. What's the big deal? Say the son, what's the big deal? Sasyamartyah pachyate, sasyamajayate punah. This body is like like the rice or paddy that grows in the field. The paddy grows in the field, it becomes ripe and falls down, grows again, becomes ripe, falls down. So also this body is born, becomes ripe. When the karma is over, falls down, is born again. What's the big deal? This body is perishable. And for the sake of this perishable body, it is not right to sacrifice truth or satya. Meaning that living up to our words, speaking truth, is much more valuable than this body. Now what can Father say? Father was helpless. Thus here Nachiketa is shown, even in spite of being so young, as rooted in his value for satyam or truthfulness. Jati, desha, kala, samaya, anavachinnaha, sarvabhaumaha, mahavratam says Yoga Shastra. Ko mahavratam. Vratam means a vow. Mahavratam means a great vow. We also take the vow. But then I'm fasting today, but I think I'll take milk now. I'm just too hungry, I'll take some fruits. Or I will not eat meat. Here, when I go to Jagannath Puri, I will not eat meat. That's what I mean. So we have vows, but they are limited by time. That within this time period, I will follow this vrata. At this place, I will follow this vrata. Vrata means vow. Under this samaya, under this conditions, I will follow the vow. That's all right. But one who follows the vow unconditionally, regardless of what the time is, what the place is, what the condition is, truth wins truth. So Nachiketa is a brilliant example of this Mahavrata, one who is committed to the vrata or the vow, regardless of consequences. We always weigh the consequences and then decide whether it is proper, whether I am going to follow my vrata or not. If consequences are too unpleasant, too painful, then we let go. And you should let go also. The point is that because we have always a threshold of pain, because following any vow or any value always will involve some pain. Because sticking to a value requires me to let go something that I otherwise consider valuable. And what more valuable can there be in one's life? Most valuable thing. In this case, for Nachiketa, following and that is his father's words. not even his words. But then if he does not follow the words of his father, then that means that his father has not lived up to his words. So Nachiketa is willing to sacrifice the most valuable thing, namely his life, for Satyam. So this is the kind of thing that is sometimes required to follow the value. So more committed you become to follow a value, more you will be tested. And more complex it will become, more demanding it will become. To see, Ishvara is watching and then testing how far this fellow goes. Usually we give up very soon. But Nachiketa. But then Yoga Shastra says that when you follow a vow to the hilt, unconditionally, then the results also are most unconditional. So Nachiketa, by following that, he even was willing to sacrifice his life, which he did. This story also occurs elsewhere in the Vedas. I think in Taittiriya Brahmana, some section of the Vedas, where it is said, so when thus Nachiketa decided that he was going to go to Lord Death, regardless of his father, ultimately had to permit him, grudgingly, unwillingly, then there was a divine voice which told Nachiketa, hey Nachiketa, when you will go to the Lord Death, you will find that Lord Death has gone away on a chore. He will be away for 3 days. So you stay at the door 3 days and 3 nights. Don't eat, don't drink. Because when he goes, naturally he'll be invited by, the servants and the family members of Yamaraja to come and, but says, no, don't hear them. And then Yamaraja will return after 3 days. He will ask you, hey, what did you eat on your first day? I ate your progeny. Progeny means your, descendants. What did you eat on the second day? I ate all your wealth. What did you eat on the third day? I ate all your punya karma. And this is something like that happened when Nachiketa in fact reached the palace of Yamaraja. For 3 days, Yamaraja was away. He returned after 3 days. At that time, Yamaraja's wife or his attendants told him, hey, this Brahmin boy has come here. His face is shining with the knowledge of Vedas. You quickly bring him, give him, make him peaceful. Because they say that when a hungry Brahmana enters your home, it is as good as fire entering your home. And when fire must be immediately pacified. Otherwise, it can burn everything. Similarly, also, you must pacify this Brahmana, this young man who has entered here. So pacify, bring water, take care of him. So Yamaraja then gives him, a seed and shows all the marks of worship, reverence that you do to a guest. See, even though Yamaraja himself is such a great man, liberated person, Jivan Mukta, he is a liberated while living. And still he is a householder and therefore follows the stipulations of a householder. And he says, hey Brahmana, I know that you will forgive me because you are what you are. But I am very pleased with you. And therefore, for the 3 nights that you lived in my house without food, I give you 3 boons. Ask her whatever you want. 3 boons. So what will you want? A BMW? Or one person gave his wife a jet plane, on her birthday and things like that. Or a $60 million house? What did Nachiketa ask for? He could ask for anything. But first thing he asked for was the peace of mind for his father. He said to Yamaraja that I know that my father has allowed me to come here very reluctantly. He must be repenting in his mind. What did I say to my son? And what all he is to go through is to die and go to Yamaraja. What all torture will happen to him? He must be repenting, regretting what he said. That I'm sure he cannot sleep at night. He must be under a lot of stress. So please grant that my father becomes free from all this stress and enjoys peace of mind. First thing. Yamaraja says, surely, by my order, from now on, your father will be able to sleep peacefully at night. Then other thing also Nachiketa quietly added. That by your grace or by your command, when I return, then my father should welcome me as before. Because if he returns, his father could very well reject him, saying that he's a ghost, he won't come. Because one who dies and comes back, and then it's after all his son, and he wants the love of his father. So he also included that in his first boon. That by your command, when I return, my father should recognize me as before and welcome me as before with love. So Yamaraja granted. So that's the first boon. As for the second boon, Nachiketa says that I find the people in the world, they have one desire, and that is the desire of going to heaven. Everybody wants to go to heaven. So the Vedic times, as far as our Karma Kanda or Mimamsakas are concerned, heaven is the goal of life. So, heaven is imagined to be a place where there is unsurpassable happiness, inexhaustible happiness. And so, people all want to go to heaven. Swarge loke na bhayam kinchanasti. I have heard about this, Nachiketa says to Yamaraja, I have heard that in the world of heaven there is no fear. Why? Natatratam, because you don't have an entry there. Death has no entry. That is why the denizens of heaven are called Amara. Amara means the immortal people. So they are immortal because there is no death there. Nobody dies in a conventional manner. Not that you can live there forever. As soon as your karma is over, you just fall down. Because, so what happens? Your body just melts away and you fall down. That's how they describe. So, na tatratvam, na jaraya viveti. In heaven, so we go through 5 stages of life. So birth, childhood, youth, old age and death. But in heaven there are only first 3 stages. Birth, childhood and youth. Nobody has old age and nobody has death. No, tattva means death is not there. No jaraya bheveti. Nobody is afraid of even old age and disease. Ubheti ritva ashanaya pipase. In heaven there is no hunger and thirst. So there are no pangs of hunger or thirst. So freedom from all physical pain arising from body, from prana, from mind. Swargatiko modate, shogatiko modate, swargatiko shoka. There is no grief. Meaning no pain arising from mind. See, pain arises from body, from prana and from mind. So body grows old and dies. There go 6 waves of samsara. At the physical level, old age and death. At the level of prana or vital air, the hunger and thirst. A level of mind, grief and sorrow and delusion. In heaven, none of these things is there. So, please teach me that knowledge by which one can go to heaven. This is called Vidya. It is also called Upanishad, but this is the Upasana. Yamaraja is granted. And Yamaraja gives elaborate description of the ritual that you perform for reaching heaven. So actually in the Vedas also this story is told in a certain way in context of this ritual. So there is a ritual called the Nachiketa Agni, or this fire ritual which goes by the name of Nachiketa. In context of that this story is told. So Yamaraja described to him elaborately how to perform the ritual and how many bricks are required and which bricks are to be arranged in which manner. All of this is told. And Nachiketa repeated verbatim what Yamaraja told him with understanding of the meaning, and he is just flabbergasted. Yamaraja is mighty happy with his disciple. He says, this Agni, the ritual will go by your name. Not only that, but I give you an additional boon. He took out from his, a necklace from his neck. Here is a necklace with all these precious stones. And several steps were told as to how to perform rituals, what meditations to perform, and what the outcome will be. That this ritual performed with meditation will in fact qualify him to go to Brahmaloka. Now, the third boon. So then, in the third boon now, Nachiketa says, that's our third passage here. Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushe Astityeke nayamastiti cheke Etad vidyam anushishtastvayam Varanameshwarastritiyah. So the last part says, Varanam Esha Vara Tritiya. He Yamaraja, of the boons that you granted, this is the third boon. Meaning that necklace that you gave me is an additional. Don't consider that as a boon. This chap is pretty, So, this Tritiya Vara, this is the third boon. Alright. What's the third one? Either vidyam anushishtas tvayaham. Tvaya anushishta, being taught by you. Either vidyam, I want to gain this knowledge. Nachiketa says, I want to gain knowledge as taught by you. Now this is also important. Not only I want this knowledge, because Yamaraja can always say, okay, I recommend such and such teacher for you. So you can go. No. Anushishtas tvaya. As taught by you, I want this knowledge. What is the knowledge that you want? So the first line says, Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushe. So manushe prete. Manushe means human being. Or any living being, but human being in particular, because that's what you see happening around you. Prete, Nachiketa says, when a human being dies, even Vichikitsa, this doubt always exists. A doubt arises when there are more than one, when there are conflicting opinions about something, then a doubt arises. Is this opinion right? Or is the other opinion right? Conflicting opinions. Is it rope or a snake? So which is rope or snake? Similarly, with reference to the person who dies. This doubt always remains. Asti iti eke, nayam asti iti cha eke. Eke means some people say asti. Asti means is. Some people say that something remains even after the death of the body. Nayam asti. On the other hand, others say that nothing remains after the death of the body. Meaning that there are those who say that this body is the Atma. Atma is born when the body is born. Atma dies when the body dies. There is no reality about you other than your body. As the modern science will say, as the medical science would say, that this is what you are. So you are body. And so Atma is a body. When body is born, Atma is born. When the body dies, Atma dies. Because what is evident is only that you don't see anything left after the body is consumed by fire. Nothing is seen as surviving. So those who simply accept what we call the perception as a means of knowledge. Perception and inference. So science accepts as a means of knowledge perception and inference. Meaning that they infer what must be the cause for the phenomenon that you perceive. You perceive a certain phenomenon, like an apple falling. That's perception. And from that, by reasoning, they arrive at the cause. What is the cause in this case? That it is the force of gravity that brings an apple down. This is inferential knowledge. It is not direct knowledge, understand? Direct knowledge is an apple is falling. From that you infer. For inference you require reasoning. So with the help of reasoning we arrive at the inferential knowledge, you can call it. But then it's possible. Because inferential conclusion is based on reasoning. If someone comes up with a superior reasoning, then the conclusion can change. You follow? That's the reason why we find that in science the conclusions keep on changing from time to time. Because Newton said something about how the world functions based on his reasoning. And the other team came, Einstein and Max Planck and others, and they found other reasoning and they had another explanation. And it's conceivable that some other team can come along and then also can give a little more sophisticated explanation. Because as your tools of investigation become more sophisticated, you can also have more sophisticated reasoning. The tools that Newton had was simply perception. And now more sophisticated tools are there, more sophisticated reasoning can be there, and therefore it is possible that inferential conclusion can change. There is no finality as far as the conclusions arrived at from inference is concerned, or tarka means reasoning is concerned, there cannot be finality. Meaning that scientific knowledge can never have finality, which is fine. They don't claim knowledge. That's how it is. Swamiji, every doctor tells me, Swami, we don't know enough of this body. Thank you for accepting that. Nobody can know. In fact, nobody can know. It is never going to be possible that you know what is that this is this and not such and such. Because that's how things are. That's how this creation is. Vedanta calls it mithya. That you can never arrive at a final conclusion about anything. That is not our subject matter. But the point is that mostly people go by what they perceive. And the life is based on the conclusions drawn from what we perceive. And when a person dies or when a living being dies, then nothing remains there, therefore it's gone. But there are others asti iti eke. There are those who accept the pramanam or the means of knowledge other than perception and inference. What's the other means of knowledge apart from this other everything like what we call the presumption, sthapati, all the forms in anumana. But then shabda means the testimony. Testimony of a well-informed and trustworthy person also is considered as pramanam or valid means of knowledge. In this case, Shabda means the words of the scriptures. And so there are those who also accept the Shastra or scriptures also as pramanam or as a valid means of knowledge. Because of this trust that Shastra or the scripture, Vedas in particular, are able to enlighten us about that which cannot be known simply through perception and inference. So Shastra is only meant for that knowledge which cannot be arrived at by perception and inference. If you could arrive at it, then Shastra has nothing to contribute. In the Vedas also, there are those sections or statements which you would know yourself also, or which are knowable by you through inference, then we will not look upon even those statements as pramana. That's called anuvada, meaning that it is something that is reiterating what is already known through other means of knowledge. But pramana means a unique means of knowledge. The knowledge that it gives cannot be given by any other means of knowledge, then alone it can be called pramana. So eyes are the pramanam, the valid means of knowledge for perception of colors and forms. Because no other means of knowledge can give us the cognition of color and form. And the ears or the organ of hearing is the pramanam, the valid means of knowledge for sound. Thus we have 5 organs of perception which give us the knowledge of the 5-fold objects of the world. They are pramanam. What eyes can do, ears cannot do. What ears can do, skin cannot do. What that can do, nobody else can do. Even mind cannot do. Even my mind also cannot say what the eye says is not right. Eyes tell it is orange color. Mind says no, I say it is yellow. Your mind also cannot say that. What eyes say is ultimate. It is possible that eyes may have some defect, in which case perhaps it can give some rise to information which may need to be corrected. And they will be corrected by correcting the eyes, but ultimately eyes are the only final authority in revealing the nature of color and form. But what about things? What about entities? What about realities that fall beyond the range of perception and inference? What about them? Now that there is something which is also beyond perception and inference. It's a matter of belief. There are those who don't believe. We do not believe in any evidence other than our own intellect. So scientists would say. But those who have trust, what is called Shraddha. Shraddha means faith in the validity of the Shabda or the evidence of the scripture also as a valid means of knowledge. The Vedas, the scriptures are a valid means of knowledge. Meaning that they have their scope in revealing that where the perception and inference do not have the reach, that there are realities of life where the perception and inference do not have the reach, and for revealing those realities, the Vedas or scriptures are pramanam or the valid means of knowledge. So whether there was a previous birth or there will be rebirth, this cannot be proven. So debates will always go on. And only those religions that are evolved in India, only they accept the law of karma and previous birth and next birth, nobody else accepts. The religions that were all born in the Middle East, they don't accept previous birth, they don't accept new birth, they don't accept this law of karma, etc. Whatever their reason be. So that there was a previous birth, that there will be a new birth, we learn only from the Vedas, from that Pramanam. Then there is something called heaven, for example. That after birth or after death also there is a realm where you experience the results of your virtuous deeds, or there is a hell where you experience the result of your vicious deeds, but that such things are there. They are also only the Shastra is a Pramana. So sometimes people ask, Swami, do you believe in heaven? I said, I haven't seen. All I can say is, I have no reason not to believe. You follow? That's what I say. Because whether heaven is or not is not the object of perception or even my inference. So I don't have any valid means of knowledge or reasoning to disprove heaven. So we accept it. Not that I work for it, not that I'm interested in it, but it's there, maybe it will be there. Where? I don't know. No, heaven and hell are all here only. I don't care, that's up to you. But this heaven, hell is okay, whether God is there or not. So this is where the most important thing is. When it comes to God, people don't accept there is what God. You prove that there is God. You cannot. If you could prove, that means that it is arrived at by reasoning. Understand? If you could prove that there is God and God is such and such, that means what? You can arrive at that knowledge by your reasoning. In which case, of course, you don't require scriptures. You cannot arrive at by reasoning. Whatever you perceive, and the reasoning that you can apply from what you perceive cannot become the clinching evidence that there is God. So these poor religious people are always under stress. And they're always, because those fellows always, you prove. The scientists always ask them, you prove. And they try to prove that God is merciful and God is, what merciful God? Because all kinds of evidences. If there is evidence that God is merciful, there is enough evidence that mercy is merciless also. Oh, there is a harmony, there is a law, and who says there is law? If there is enough of injustice and enough disorder in the universe, how do you say there is only order in the world? So any statement you make about God, you cannot provide proof. I'm telling you. So you can think about it, but I don't think you can do that. Meaning that if somebody challenges you about God, don't try to prove, because you cannot. The only thing is you can challenge that person, you please disprove God. Equally, you cannot be disproved also requires reasoning, you follow? So that which is beyond reasoning can neither be proven nor can be disproven also. So nobody can disprove that, nobody can prove there is no God. Or there is no previous birth, there is no new next birth. You cannot disprove that also. It's your choice. I don't accept. That's all right. I don't accept God. That's okay. Our Swami used to say that those fellows who had God had always had problems with their fathers. Because God is present as Father in heaven. And they say, when somebody says, I don't believe in God, I don't accept God, we say, we also don't accept God that you are not accepting. But we are talking about God that, we are accepting. When people say, I don't believe in God, it is some kind of a God that he doesn't believe, which may be okay. But as God, really as God is, you cannot but not believe. As far as Vedanta is concerned, you can always, if somebody says, prove that there is God. Where is God? Is there God? You can ask a simple question. Are you there or not? Are you there? Yes. Nobody can say I am not there. Because for anybody to say I am not there, you should be there to say that, isn't it? So one thing that anybody is to accept is I am there. Whether somebody else is there or not can be questioned. But I am there, nobody can deny, isn't it? Can we deny that I am there? Even if you want to deny, you cannot deny because I am does not depend upon your acceptance. It is independent of your acceptance or denial because it is self-revealing, self-effulgence. So whether something is there depends upon your accepting it, then there is a question of non-accept. But I am does not depend, I am is self-revealing. Does not depend upon whether you accept it or not. I am does not require any proof. There is one thing that does not require proof because it is self-revealing. What requires proof? That which is not self-revealing requires proof. Which needs to be revealed by reasoning, by some other means of knowledge, but that which is self-revealing doesn't require proof. If there was darkness in this room, then we could not see any of the people here, and therefore you will require proof whether somebody is there or not. So then the light must be there to prove that somebody is there. If there is a lamp in this room, does it require another light? Doesn't require, because it is self-revealing. So understand that there is something that is self-revealing. What is it? I am. So, are you there or not? Yes, that's all. Then God is there. What do you mean? Yes. God that Vedanta reveals is there. God that somebody else reveals in terms of heaven, etc., that's always our Swami would say that is Nitya Paroksha, meaning that it is something that has to be accepted on faith. Verifiable faith and non-verifiable faith. A God in heaven becomes an object of non-verifiable faith because you cannot verify as long as you are in this body. After death, if you are fortunate enough to go there, then you will be able to verify that there is God. But this is verifiable. When Vedanta says there is God, it is verifiable because that God is nothing but myself. So I have no question, I cannot doubt that I am. The next question, who says I am God? That will tell you how it is. That can be verified. Because you cannot deny that I am. And now you listen to us. As far as the true nature of I am is concerned, we tell you what you are. You think that you are such and such entity, you are such a limited being, this is kind of notion that you have about yourself, or the conclusions. We say that they are all conclusions and notions born of ignorance, meaning that you do not have the true knowledge of who you are. For that you will listen, and then you will find out that you are is God. So it will verify. For verification, doesn't have to go someplace. Otherwise, if you need to go someplace in Himalaya, Mount Everest, then perhaps you may not be able to go. For verification, you have to become something, you have to grow horns on your head, then perhaps that may not happen. For verification, if some karma is required, some process is required, it is likely that you may not be able to perform that. There can be obstacles. One thing, there is no obstacle. Where? I am. No obstacle at all. Nobody can place any obstacle to that. Otherwise, all obstacles can be placed. For becoming rich, there can be an obstacle. For becoming old, there can be an obstacle. For traveling one place to another, there can be an obstacle. I am is self-existing, self-revealing, self-sufficient fact, and therefore can be no obstacle. Etat vidyam anushistastvayam. As taught by you, I want to know this about whether or not there is a self other than this body. There is, of course. Meaning that Nachiketa in essence is asking for the knowledge of the self that is other than this body, meaning the gross and subtle bodies, meaning that is body, mind, sense complex, that I want to know about that. Tvaya, to be taught by you. So, not only scriptures is the means of knowledge, the words of scriptures, but those words coming through an authentic source become the means of knowledge. Because we don't have a direct access to those words, because those words need to be understood. Therefore, when those words come out of someone who knows what the meaning is, and hopefully who lives what that meaning is, in that case there can be no question at all. Even Katho Upanishad also says, Ananya prokte gatiratra nasti. When this is taught by someone Ananya, when the teacher tells you about God or Brahman as his own self and as your own self, then there is no question of not knowing it. If Brahman is something different from you, it is likely that you may not know, because then you have to bridge that gap between you and your means of knowledge and your object of knowledge. But you, and what is you? Which is I. So when the teacher reveals the truth as his own self and as the self of the disciple, Gatiratra nasti, there cannot be gati, meaning there cannot be that the knowledge doesn't take place. So, Tvaya, by you, I know that you are the right person. You are death. You know what is life. You know what is death. You know what is in this perception. And you know what is beyond perception also. So you are the one, Tvaya. By you, I want to be instructed by you. And I want to know this truth. So look, his commitment to truth has brought him to this. It's not just, an accident that Nachiketa became so fortunate to be face to face with none other than Lord Death, who is the teacher. And how the desire for knowledge automatically arises when there is purity of mind. So Vedanta teaches that when mind becomes sattvic, then there is desire for knowledge. It's called Vividisha, Vedamicha, desire for knowledge. And thus we see in Nachiketa a strong desire for knowledge. That it is strong desire for knowledge will also have to be confirmed. Meaning that Yamaraja is not going to simply impart his knowledge just because he asked for it. He will want to, in fact, test his disciple, that he means what he talks. Do you know what you're talking about? Do you know what you're asking for? And like the resolve of Nachiketa, of gaining self-knowledge, be tested by Yamaraja. And then when you verify that he really means what he says, then only the teaching will begin. So, thus Nachiketa asks for the knowledge of self of Lord Death. We will continue. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashakatau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyoma Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti.